King Bhoja, written by S. Chandra, published in the year 1998. King Bhoja was believed to have flourished during the 10th century AD. He was so deeply dedicated to the cause of literature that writing of poetry had become a mass movement during his tenure as a king. Poetry was not only a cup of tea of the elite, civilized, or cultured gentry among his subjects, even people in the street could claim equal mastery over this divine art. A story of a woodcutter is a living example of the fact that even the laborers or people living below the poverty line, besides being learned, had a great command over poetry. Once Bhoja, while taking a stroll in the suburbs of his kingdom, saw a woodcutter coming from the opposite direction. The bundle of wood on his head was so heavy that he was puffing and sweating profusely. The king, a tender hearted soul, took pity on him and said, "Don't you feel pestered by the weight you are burdened with? Since the spoken language of the people during those days was Sanskrit, and what the king had said was not all correct," the woodcutter retorted, "the weight does not torment me so fiercely as the wrong use of expression communicated by you." Equally interesting is the episode of a thief who managed to sneak into the bedroom of the king at the dead of night to make his fortune by stealing gold which lay hid somewhere around his bed. The thief felt miserable to find that the king was still awake and was busy composing a couplet. The king had completed 3 stanzas and was racking his brain to frame the last one. The theme of this poetical exercise was that he was lucky enough to have the most charming queens, loving friends, palatial buildings, fantastic orchards, elephants, horses, enormous wealth, and what not. During the process, when the king was repeating his already composed 3 stanzas again and again, the thief, who was also a poet, forgot about his mission and starting composing the remaining part of the verse. Luckily, an idea struck him and he was able to connect the missing link. It was a matter of great excitement for him, and he forgot that he had come to commit a theft and could be caught red handed. He said, "When you depart from the world, all that you boast of now will, O king, vanish like the morning dew." The strange incident was a blessing in disguise for both the king and the thief. The former was saved from being robbed, and the latter escaped imprisonment because of his performance as a poet. The thief also took a vow not to indulge in any sinful act like this and live as a good citizen for the rest of his life. Vilochana Pandit, who visited the court of the king and presented an interesting verse in his honor. On seeing King Bhoja giving in charity a herd of elephants, Parvati, Lord Shiva's consort, had to provide foolproof security to her elephant faced son Ganesha. The king was deeply impressed by the poetic excellence of the visiting intellectual and became eager to have a greater interaction with him. He invited him to participate in a quiz test and put forth a problem. The learned visitor accepted the challenge and he came out with the following three verses as sequels to the enigma propounded by the king. Number 1. Ditcher. Ditcher is the birthplace, deers are the retinue, bark of tree the only dress, forest as the sole abode, the food that suffices up to Kandamul wild food only, says Agastya was able to store the mighty ocean in the cavity of his lotus like palm. This testifies to prove that the success of great men is the offshoot of their potential and is not due to the subsidiaries they hold on. Riding a single wheeled chariot, all the seven horses of which stand grappled with snakes, the path being groundless and the charioteer the lame one, the sun crosses the vast expanse of the sky every day. It, therefore, bears out that the success of great men is subject to their potential and not to their material they carry along. To be subjugated is Lanka, to be crossed is the ocean, and that too by foot only. Adversary, the mighty Ravana, allies, the poor monkeys. He, Rama, a mere pedestrian and a mortal, succeed to finish the entire pedigree of demons, which substantiates that the triumph of great men is the gift of their potential and is not the fruit of the means made use by them. It was a pleasant surprise for the king to have met such a sharp witted, erudite scholar. So spontaneous was his reaction that he was quick to grant him the title of Poet Laureate and honor him with many precious and heartwarming presents. Now, some word power. Ditcher is the birthplace, deers are the retinue, bark of tree the only dress. D-A-T-C-H here, ditcher means here a mud pitcher, a type of jar. Riding a single wheeled chariot, all the seven horses of which stand grappled with snakes, Grapple, grapple means struggle. To be subjugated is Lanka. To be crossed is the ocean. And that too by foot. Subjugata, subjugate means conquer. Thanks for listening.